Okay, right. I think it's probably best we get started. So before I do start, I am actually going to turn my camera off. I need the screen space for this one. I need to be able to see what's on the screen more than I normally do. So when I am talking and responding to people, I will flick it back on. While I'm presenting, I am going to turn my camera off just to give me the screen space to see everything that's going on. So I'm going to disappear shortly. And I'm going to close that. Claire or Si, I think Leon's on as well. If anyone does pop up into the lobby, could you just let them in for me? Right, we're going to get straight on with this. So warm welcome to everybody this evening. Thank you for joining us. And welcome to club date number 7. Can't believe we've had 7 in probably the last 13, 14 months. Tonight's focus is going to solely be around England football accreditation. Now, I know normally we kind of have one topic and we do some updates in other areas and we have lots of back and forth and lots of chit chat. Tonight is going to look a little bit different. So it will be quite heavy in terms of content from myself. What we're going to look to do is cover the headlines of England football accreditation, what transition looks like from Charter Standard to accreditation, and the support that we can offer as a county FA in line with the new England football accreditation. So all the way through tonight, we're looking at clubs rather than leagues and clubs, because league can be accredited too. So, and as well as those kind of areas, we'll also look at the benefits, the incentives, and the rewards also. So previous club dates, like I said, have been a more development kind of led. Tonight will be more of an update, so hopefully not death by PowerPoint, but we've got some important info and some announcements regarding future support. There's still a chance to contribute through the chat bar, so if you do have any questions, feel free to fire them in. Raise your hand. There'll be a few slides where you can raise your hand, or if you've got a really interesting point or you want to check and challenge, get your hand up and we'll call on you, and then you can unmute and turn your cameras on for us. So without further ado, we're going to crack on. The next slide contains a video. It's only 90 seconds, so if this is a traumatic experience in terms of the buffering and things, don't worry, just bear with us on that. Okay, so I'm going to get it fired up. Awesome. So hopefully that played okay. We've only got one other short video to go throughout the presentation. So again, if that was not the best coming through on the buffer, let me know in the chat and I'll maybe skip over the next one. But hopefully it came through. There we go. Alan said nothing played. Didn't play at all. That's not great. Right, we'll make sure we skip the next video. Claire says she had to press play. Interesting. Right, so we'll maybe try that next time. We've only got one other video. Anyway, so it was a little bit of a taster and just an insight into accreditation. It's quite a cheesy one, but it's good to set this scene for why England football accreditation exists. So why does England football accreditation exist? Some of you, and it's probably fair, will ask Charter Standard, club accreditation, why do we do it? What is the point for us as a club? Is it just a box ticking exercise? And it is something that does get checked and challenged with us quite a lot. For us, accredited clubs lead by example. They raise the bar from non-accredited clubs. They fly the flag for respect and diversity. Our club network in the county delivers inclusive football for the local community, which is absolutely crucial for us as a county FA. Accredited clubs are the best places for players and volunteers to play, coach and administer the game, due to the high standards that accredited clubs hold on and off the pitch. Crucially for us, a huge percentage of the football in our county is delivered within that accredited setting, which gives us as a county lots of football being played in clubs that maintain the highest of high standards. Now, if you're non-accredited and you're on this meeting tonight, not an issue. This slide deck and this presentation is good for non-accredited and our current accredited clubs, and we'll come on to that a little bit further later on. Right, next slide. Sorry, missed my click then. So as you can see from this chart, we're doing really, really well. So we mentioned earlier about the high percentage of football within our accredited clubs. Within our youth clubs, we're touching 90%. That obviously took a bit of a hit during COVID as things kind of developed, but 90% is a great platform for us. Obviously, we're aiming to hit 100%. With our youth clubs, 50%, and that can obviously look a lot lower than our youth chart standard percentage, but actually 50% is a great place to be at. And with the new process around accreditation, we've got a real opportunity to grow and increase the number of accredited clubs or adult teams playing within accredited clubs. So it's a really, really exciting time, something that I take real pride in, and we want to kick on and increase the number of accredited teams playing throughout this county. So when we talk about accreditation, it's about creating opportunities for everyone. Why are accredited clubs so important to us? Well, we know that players, coaches and volunteers who find themselves in an accredited environment are more likely to stay in the game, which is massive for us again as a county, and hopefully develop that lifelong passion for football. And that's not just staying as you are, so I'm a player and I'll play for life, or it might be a volunteer and I'm going to volunteer for life. It's those journeys between playing, volunteering and vice versa that are really, really crucial for us. England Football Accreditation exists to fuel that passion, to give everyone an opportunity to have fun, learn and grow and develop together. And I want to really reiterate there, we're not just talking about players. We are referring to players and volunteers and officials such as yourself. You are more likely to stay in the game, to stay with your club when you are volunteering and playing within that accredited club environment, generally because they're ran better. So it's really, really important. England Football Accredited exists to give you and your club the opportunity to be the best that you can be. So, club pathways, raise stars. Accredited clubs, raise stars. So as mentioned earlier, the club network, it has shifted over the years. We have less clubs than we used to, but we have more teams. And that's a sign that being the best places to play helps you to grow, and the clubs that don't run effectively, they tend to be the teams that fall away, and that is still quite something that happens regularly throughout this season, throughout previous seasons, pre-COVID and post-COVID. It does tend to be our 1 and 2 team clubs, non-accredited clubs that fall away, and it tends to be within that adult section as well. But we do see kind of our open age teams, particularly, that are based within larger accredited clubs or that are linked to junior pathways. We see them thriving. So it's really, really important that we do create these pathways for clubs. Okay, so accredited clubs create more chances for people to play football. So it makes sense for us as a county FA to align our support to those clubs delivering the pathways for us. When we speak about more chances, this means across all 3 pathways, male, female and disability. Your club star rating is linked to the pathways that you offer. Whether you're 1, 2 or 3 star, that is okay, because you're part of our wider network within the county, delivering football across the whole pathway. Because you're offering, sorry, I'm just letting someone in. Because you're offering a high standard on and off the pitch, you are more likely to retain and grow new opportunities to play. bringing us back to the kind of why and what is the point of us being accredited. That's it. Your high standards make your clubs the best places for people to play and enjoy football. So that when we keep referring back to, is it a box ticking exercise, or are we doing it for the sake of it? No, we want you as clubs to really strive and push to be the best places for everyone involved with your club to be. Okay, so hopefully across the summer you received information from England Football around the pathways. I also sent you some slides prior to this meeting, or to most people. I think the people that signed up today may not have received that. So hopefully you've got a pretty good understanding of the pathways and what makes a full male pathway, what makes a full female and a full disability pathway. So we're not going to work through it in detail. I do have a brief video, and then I'll be happy to answer any questions that you have regarding the pathways. Now, Claire's advice is that you need to click play on the video. So if someone can try that and let me know, I'm going to give that 30 seconds to see if you can start the video. If you can't, I'm going to skip it and you can fire your questions off.
Yeah, that works.
Awesome. So if you can press play on the video and watch that, it's only a minute long. Went in and out. Right, I'm going to try one more time. So, Leon, can you still hear me now the presentation's up?
Yeah, that's all good, mate. That's all good.
My goodness me. What a palaver. I was trying to get this to 30 minutes as well. Right, transition. Let me know if it goes dodgy again. So we all know how tough the last 2 seasons have been for grassroots football. It's been tough to retain and grow teams. There's been some incredible work from yourselves around creating an environment that was safe to exercise and safe to play in for your players during those hard times. And that's been acknowledged in the criteria and the pathways. So England Football have chosen to recognise your club level and your pathway and your stars level in terms of how many teams you may have up until the end of the 23-24 season. So some of you may have seen that you're a 3-star club and you're thinking, hold on, how we're a 3-star club, we're missing team X, team Y and team Z. And that's because they've built this kind of safety net in, linked back, like I said, to the tough times that we've been through. So that's maybe why your pathway looks the way it does. We at the County FA, we're committed to supporting you as clubs to retain and importantly develop your pathways over the next 2 seasons. And that's if you want it. You might be happy where you are. If you want it, we're here to support. And during this time, your star level is not going to change. So it's not going to keep flicking between 1, 2 and 3. You've got this nice window up until November 23 to work towards securing the potential that's within your pathways already. So if you're 1 or 2 teams missing, you've got this time now to work towards it without the fear of losing those stars. Okay, and hopefully you've all seen it on your club portal where you're accredited. If you are, then it says 1, 2 or 3 stars. Okay, you've been automatically transitioned across. And good news for any non-accredited clubs that are on the meeting tonight, applications are open. The process is an absolute dream. It's online, it's quick, it's simple. And I'll come on to this later, but if you do need a whistle-stop tour and a bit of a tutorial, I'm going to be staying on afterwards tonight to do that with anyone that needs it. Onto the timeline that you can see on the screen. And you're probably thinking, what about, Tom, what about the dreaded kind of annual health checks that we have to go through each year? Well, you've got a bit of a buffer now too. So you've got until November 2022 to satisfy the criteria. As I said, you've been automatically transitioned across. You didn't need to do health checks during COVID and the last couple of years. So you've got until November 22 to satisfy that criteria. And this is all managed within the portal. Again, online and an absolute dream. And I don't want you worrying about the portal. I know we had issues with Player Edge, which we won't cover tonight. The portal works an absolute dream for this. So you've got until November 2023. Like I said before, your star level will be based on reality rather than the potential of your club. Okay. And here we can see on the next slide, if it wants to move along for me, we can see our current state of play, where we are in terms of 1, 2 and 3-star clubs, and the bit at the bottom around kind of being near or having that potential. That might be why you're in the 2 and the 3-star. And I really want to reiterate again, our willingness as a team, particularly in the development team, and our desire to support your clubs to retain or grow in line with your ambitions. And that can be around growing your pathways or supporting your structure, your governance, to give you a really strong platform to build from. On to the criteria. I'm not going to bore you to death. I'm not going to sit and read through it all, but I really want to highlight that, again, this can all be managed via the portal. You're able to adopt or upload policies, which is just game changing in terms of administration, upload development and season plans, as well as your accounts. They all sit on the portal. The beauty of that is we can see it at our end. Only you as a club can see it and us. Also, if you were to leave or a club official leaves and someone else comes in, everything is sitting there waiting for them that they're going to need. And it'll also be how we validate new applications and new renewals. So the criteria, it's fairly similar to what you've seen before. I think the main thing to add there is around the Football Leadership Diversity Code, which is available on the portal to adopt and for you to share as a PDF via, out towards you to your members and your club committee. But the criteria itself has remained fairly similar. So no new shocks for you current accredited clubs and any new clubs. It's there for you. Onto the on-pitch and off-pitch stuff. As previously was the case, validating your coach and volunteer qualifications remains at the heart of accreditation. It really is one of those pillars of maintaining the high standards that we have a qualified coach with our junior teams, with every single junior team. We have first aiders with all of our accredited adult teams. It's been front and centre, and we get emails week after week, but we have had a lot of press and incidences of cardiac arrest, sudden cardiac arrest in the adult game. And I think that just really hammers home the importance of us having those first aiders with teams. Okay, the portal gives you 365 validation. It is a far superior process to what was on whole game. So you can stay on top of your upcoming expirations. It's so simple. It puts it right in front of you, and it can help you address your new volunteers. And just to again re-clarify, we've covered it many times, but the courses for coach education, level 1 is no more. It is the introduction to coaching football. Safeguarding and first aid, as well as the introduction to coaching football, are solely online courses. So there's no face-to-face contact for those courses. So a much easier process for you to get your coaches ready for accreditation. Whilst we're on courses, there is some funding available for to have your England football coach education courses fully funded. It's not guaranteed, but you can apply for it, and I'll be sharing the links and stuff for that in the post-meeting follow-up. So do get yourself or anyone within your club that requires it applying for that funding. The off-pitch stuff, there are a few tweaks. So for you clubs that were already accredited, the main addition is the club development plan or the season plan for you smaller clubs, which must be uploaded into the portal. And there'll be more on that later on as we click through. So yeah, criteria is fairly consistent with where we were before. Again, whilst I don't want to bore you to death by reading the whole slide, clubs working together and club partnership agreements, linking and managing your links is now really simple, and again, is done through the portal in literally 2 and 3 clicks. In short, formal links are clubs working in partnership to create and deliver more playing opportunities. The most common example we see in our county are open age 1 team clubs linking up with a club that has a junior pathway but no adult provision to provide that full player pathway, which is really vital for those players to have an exit route from junior football into adult football and vice versa. So it's a really useful tool for creating those full player pathways. The beauty of linking clubs rather than coming as one together is that you can retain your identity whilst partnering up. So you can keep your name, you can keep your kit, you can keep your colours, you can keep your badge, but you can have that formal link in place. If you want more info on that, there's a link there on the screen, and you'll obviously get the slide deck after. And also, I'm more than happy to sit and work through that with people. So on to the good bit. Hopefully, we've set the scene well as to what England Football Accredited is and the future direction we're going in with things such as the portal, as well as nailing why it's important to us that you achieve or retain your accreditation. Hopefully, you do it because that you can see and feel the benefits to your club, but it's also important to us that you feel the support from us as a county FA and from England Football. So the following section, we're going to outline the support on offer from us as a county FA to our accredited club network. Our commitment to you is we want to enable, educate, equip and empower you. We want to support you to grow teams in line with the pathways, facilitate partnerships and encourage links, meet and adhere to the on and off pitch criteria, support you with revalidation, educate your understanding of the club portal and the dashboard, help you with club plans, and support non-accredited clubs to become accredited. So that's our pledge to you. That's our commitment. We'll do that through our staff. Now, I do have apologies. We don't have everyone's photo on there. It's been a very busy day. But our development team is sitting on the screen here for you. And that commitment from the page before, we are hoping to drive that. So you've obviously come across most of us before. I'm confident that you know the team fairly well from our appearances on here and some of the face-to-face stuff we've been luckily doing over the last few weeks, which has been nice. It looks like we might lose that again. But some notable additions. JC, Julie Callaghan, has joined us as Diversity and Inclusion Officer. Her expertise is going to be a massive, massive asset to us in regards to support and work around the disability pathway. Chris McEwen has also joined us as Marcoms Officer. He joins to deliver our marketing strategy, but he's also here to help clubs improve their own. So he's here for you too. So please do tap into him. Chris is an industry expert and he's already a vital asset to us. And I want to make sure he's a vital asset to you as clubs too. So before we dial in to our specific support, I think it's crucial that we outline as a county FA our direction and our overall strategy moving forward. So it's really good, as I said earlier, that we've got Simon tonight, the County FA General Manager, making his club update debut. So I'm going to hand over to Simon and he's going to summarise our County FA vision for the very near future. So I'm going to hand over to Simon. Hopefully that all works and he's able to unmute himself.
Yeah, thanks, Tom. Good evening, everybody. Thanks for having me on the call tonight. So Tom's given me 5 minutes to talk through our 2021-24 strategy and some of the high-level thinking behind it. I guess when we looked at this strategy, and some of the first questions really were around why we needed to review our strategy, and the first part of that was quite easy. The FA asked us to. So we work very closely with the FA. We're essentially a branch of the FA. We see the FA as being our parent organisation. And all counties were asked to put together a plan which went before the FA senior managers, which was signed off and ultimately approved by the National Game Board. Once that was signed off by the FA, we were then able to draw down our funding for this next 3-year cycle. So that was the first part really around why we needed to look at our strategy. But I guess more importantly, we were coming out of COVID. We needed to look at really what our recovery plan was. We've all been hit by COVID. We need to roll our sleeves up, I guess, and get on with the job. But we were hit financially by the last couple of years, and we'd lost a few people along the way. So we really need to look at where we focused our efforts over this next three years. And you can see there on the screen, we were framed a mission around 3 questions, the what, how and the why questions. But before we set off looking at really the detail of the strategy, we asked ourselves, and this might seem quite obvious, we asked ourselves who was at the centre of this strategy, who did we believe were our customers. You might naturally think that we assumed that the players were our customers. Ultimately, those are the guys on the pitch who enjoy football and consume all the products and services that you and the County FA put together. But we didn't see necessarily the players as being the customers. We were very clear that clubs, the club network, and the leagues in our area were really at the centre of this strategy. So we looked then at how we were going to focus our operational efforts, and we came up with the 3 themes: the people, the places and the pathways. So the people one really was around some of the things that Tom has talked around. So we've got the referee, tutors, observers, mentors. We need to look after those guys so that the game's officiated properly. We've got the qualified coaches. We need to support you guys with qualifications through the FA. And of course, some of the outstanding work that Tom's doing on the CPD programme. And Claire also is on the call. So when we think about people, we're thinking about our efforts in the world of DBS and welfare officer training and safeguarding generally, which will absolutely remain our key focus for the next 3 years. The next theme was the places. So we've got a number of clubs looking at how they improve, how you guys improve your grass pitches, and we've got programs in place around pitch improvement, and we can hook clubs up with the Grounds Management Association if anybody has interest, or any club has interest in improving your grass pitches. We can absolutely help you guys with that. And similarly, if clubs have aspirations for major capital projects, we've got several 3G pitch projects in the pipeline, and we can absolutely help clubs with developing their clubhouses, capital projects around 3G pitches, for example. So that was really where we are intending to focus our efforts in the places theme. But ultimately, it's about the pathways. It's a job that you guys are doing to create fun, safe and inclusive player opportunities and positive environments. And I guess that's the main feature of Tom's presentation tonight. And if we get this right, we work together to make sure that we head towards the FA data cut in March 2024, and we've worked together to successfully deliver the infrastructure which supports 50,000 players. So that was a high level thinking around our strategy. Tom, you gave me 5 minutes. Hopefully that's a whistle stop tour of where we are at with the County FA strategy. But the main message from me, I guess, is that it is our plan, it is our intention to work very closely with the leagues and clubs, particularly to make sure that we build a positive infrastructure across our County FA area. So thanks, Tom. Thanks for inviting me on. Back to you.
Awesome, nailed it, perfect timing. And I do want to really emphasise that we've really putting clubs and leagues at the heart of everything we do. So that's why we do these meetings, in short. So we've now had a bit of a roundup of where the County FA, what direction we're heading in, and we want to dial in now onto what support we're going to offer specifically to our accredited clubs. So this isn't replacing the day-to-day food and drink general support that we offer to you as clubs when you pick up the phone, I need some help with that, or what do you think about this? That is, not to say take it for granted, that is our bread and butter. We'll obviously continue to do this. What the next section is about is our support offer for our accredited club network and the changes we're making there. So if I can get this to work again, here we go, next one. So first up is our club support workshops. And what we're looking to do is reward all of our accredited clubs with an opportunity to access one free club development workshop per season. So the topics or the areas that these workshops can be in are as followed: identity, governance, football development, finance, workforce and volunteers, facilities, community, marcoms, safeguarding, diversity, inclusion and belonging. Now the first 8 of those will be a common thread throughout a lot of the stuff you see around England football, and the 2 at the bottom are 2 key areas that we're really looking to push, particularly between me and Claire and me and JC around the diversity, inclusion and belonging. These workshops that we're offering are bespoke to your club. They can be face to face, hopefully, fingers crossed, or online. What I'm going to do following this meeting is we'll be sending the menu out, and I want to emphasize, if you don't see exactly what you need within that program, please do get in touch, contact us. And what we want to do is create workshops that suit your needs. We want you to challenge us. So within the document I'm going to send out, there's 3 or 4 different workshops within those different topic areas that you might want to choose from. If it's not there, like I said, please challenge us. Please come back to us and say, Tom, we want that bespoke support for this season to be in this area. Okay. Throughout this whole support section and our support offer, I really want to emphasize, and hopefully emphasize probably not the right word. I want to make it clear that we're not just putting words on PowerPoint slides here. Our actions, we want our actions to speak louder than words on the slide. So each area we're going to cover, I'm hopefully going to show you an example of where we're backing up these statements. And like I said, it's not just written on a slide and then we take it for granted that it happens. So our club or our open club workshops, these club updates that we're on tonight, over the last 13, 14 months, we've had over 430 people sign up for these meetings, which is a huge amount of people, a vast amount of clubs across the network. And the success of these, I guess, has been measured not with something that you can tangibly measure and go, okay, 433 people and they've all made improvements, but it's been the follow-up calls, the emails, and the changes that clubs have made off the back of these. So if you recall back to the perfect pre-season or the respect one we had last time, we've done one on safeguarding and obviously COVID before that. It has been a real success, and you have to take my word for that. But after each meeting, I'm getting 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 people calling me and challenging me or changing processes within their clubs based off the stuff we've done. And that gives us real confidence that if we offer you these individual workshops as well that are bespoke to you, that is going to be really valuable to you as clubs and really valuable to us. So it's an exciting time. It's something we're really proud to offer, something we're really excited to get out there and deliver. There's lots and lots of good stuff within there, within those 10 categories, and it does cover a wide range. I'm trying to give you some examples off the top of my head from it. We've got how to support referees or young referees within your club as a workshop. We've got stuff that links back to respect that we covered before. We've got stuff around FAIT. So we really, really hope to not only support you, but really push you on and help you develop within those specific areas. So please take advantage of that new support offer. It's something we're really, really keen to push. Moving on. So on to coach support. So we're going to look at the support we're looking to offer to your coach network within our accredited clubs to ensure your coaches keep creating that positive playing environment. I'll be brutally honest here, we do appreciate and we recognise the loss of the face-to-face delivery of level ones. That is a huge shift in coach education. And we have had feedback from clubs within the network and from stuff people I've spoken to at CPD events. We're working really, really hard to deliver a coach support program to give your coaches that face-to-face support. And we're moving away from using CPD as our language. You want coaches to feel supported. So if you see coach support, we're talking old school language, CPD. Crucially, where we can, we're going to try and deliver this support for free. And that is really important to me, that we're not adding to the cost of the courses, the safeguarding, the first aid. We don't want to add to that where we can. So we are really, really pushing to get that in for free. Step one of this has been our current league pilot, which is currently in place. Some of you will have experienced this already. We're currently running a pilot within 2 of our accredited leagues, and we're aiming to roll this out to all of our leagues as of next season. That support is providing them with 2 coach support evenings per season, targeting the coaches that they wish to be supported, and it's been really, really strong so far. We're really pleased with how that's rolling. So like we said, we're going to get that out to the rest of the leagues next year. That's been free at point of service for all the coaches attending those. And if we are looking at, if that does become a cost event moving forward, we're going to work closely with the leagues, try not to transfer that cost onto your coach support, onto your coaches, sorry. So that's one area. We are looking to commence our more general CPD offer that will roll out in the new year, and more so as the weather turns and gets better for us. I do want to just ask a question, and please do throw this straight in the chat if you've got feedback on this, around how important is it to you, or do you believe it is to your coaches, that those more general events, so not league based, so for example Doncaster Junior League, it's definitely going to be in Doncaster, how important is it to your coaches network that those events are coming to your locality, so Sheffield, Barnsley, Rotherham, Doncaster, and everywhere in between? How important is that to your coaches, and do you believe that is a big barrier for them? If for example an event's in Sheffield, are people willing to travel from Doncaster and Barnsley to do it? And just fire your brutally honest comments into the chat for me on that, because it is something that we find a challenge at the county. And when I am trying to get them out free at source for your coaches, if I have to put events on more than once to cover different areas, that is something we're going to have to really look at closely. So please give me your kind of raw and honest feedback on that, because it is needed. So far with the pilot, we've had over 60 coaches supported prior to Christmas, which is superb. And we're planning on doubling that before the end of the season. So again, in terms of action speaking louder than words, we've said we're going to get that pilot out there. We've done it. It's been superb so far. We're looking to hit over 120 coaches this season. And when we roll that out to our junior leagues next year, we're hoping again that we hit a really high number of coaches supported with support that they need for their coaching environment and their league environment. Programs supporting growth to support the retention and growth of your pathways. So I'm going to hit these really, really quickly. Again, don't want to just be reading from slides to you. First up, we've got Wildcats. The application window is open. £900 of funding over 2 years plus equipment for you to kickstart your female pathway. A fantastic, fantastic resource that's got a proven track record of really giving your club the best chance to kickstart and grow a female pathway. Just Play, a great opportunity to engage new 16 plus players in a variety of recreational forms, from anything from kind of a kickabout to walking football. We go all the way across there. Many clubs use this as to create kind of a pool of players that are maybe not playing affiliated football, but are around the club, are enjoying their football. And some of those will transition into teams within your club. So it's a really, really good tool. Leon's the point man on that. So if you've got any questions around Just Play, go straight to Leon. Other areas of support, such as kind of funding cycles and funding pots, are constantly becoming available. And we've got a dedicated team to help you across all areas of the game, with or without the use of those programs. So we've got a youth officer, adult officer, diversity inclusion officer, clubs officer, and a recreation officer. So we really feel empowered and in the best place to support you to grow or retain in the areas that your club needs to. Again, it's important for us, I want to emphasize, not just words on a piece of paper. We've got a track record in this area, and we're not happy where they're at. We're going to kick on again. We've had a 30% increase in the number of registered female players between this season and last season. Wildcats, Mike Drummond and Molly Johnson, alongside the Women and Girls League, worked extremely hard to create this under-8s league that's helped with those numbers in the Women and Girls League. It's been a tremendous success, and it all started with Wildcats festivals, giving the players opportunities to experience more organised football before transitioning into affiliated football. And honestly, it's been a superb effort from every single one of them, including the league, to get to that point. But I just want to really emphasise again that, yeah, we're saying it and we're pushing it, but actually, this is what we've done in the last 12 months, and we're going to kick on again. Facilities, Simon has thankfully, because I get scared when I talk about facilities, has thankfully already nailed some of this for me. But I want to just really emphasise that there's an incredible amount of investment heading towards facilities. Grass pitches, large scale and small grants. I recently attended with Leon and Sarah a facilities meeting. The scale of the ramp up for us as a county is, I don't think this is a bad thing to say, but it's daunting, but it's incredibly exciting. And there's big things happening within the county in line with the investment that's coming towards facilities, grass pitches, 3Gs, and building an infrastructure around your club. Okay, and it's unprecedented and probably something that won't happen again in the very near future. So now's the time. And from that meeting, it was really interesting to kind of hear what the Football Foundation staff were saying about them being pushed to push boundaries almost and try and push things through that maybe 12 months ago they would have considered too risky, or potentially actually the area's potentially too affluent and it doesn't need that pitch there, but it might be this time is the time that can happen. So it's an exciting time. But I want to bring that back to club accreditation. The first question that is asked every single time a club approach around investments, funding for facilities: are they accredited? How is the club run? And can they deliver the outcomes that they're promising? And we're fully behind our accredited clubs in this area. So again, when we look at what's the support for you as an accredited club, or potentially a new accredited club coming in, well, we will back you. We trust that you are doing the right things on and off the pitch. We can see it via the portal, the work you do off the pitch. So again, really, really important to emphasise that facilities, it's going to be lots of things in the pipeline over the next 3, 4, 5 years, and we want our accredited club network to form and drive that particular area. And again, backing it up with our actions, just for the last month, 3 organisations have received funding, £35,000 worth of grants, total project value of £52,000 for just 1 month. And you'll keep seeing these on our social media and on our website, and that is going to keep growing over the next 3, 4, 5 years. Right, there's a brief outline of our current support offer. Are there any areas you would like us to consider, or any areas that you think that needs adding as a matter of urgency for us clubs? So again, feel free to use the chat. Because of the way I'm sharing the screen, I can't see the chat anymore, so I may need one of my colleagues, if anything is in there, to unmute themselves and read it out so I can get it added. But there's no silly suggestions here. We want to hear your what support you want and areas that you want us to focus into, because it helps drive our work program. So please do share that in the chat. And again, I'm just going to leave it 30 seconds. If anything does crop up, if Leon or Claire could let me know, because I can no longer see the chat.
Nothing yet.
Awesome.
Bits around your question earlier around coaching network being within the area, which I think the consensus is that what we know already is that yes, if we can get it moved around different areas of the county, it's definitely one that's could be a barrier to some coaches, and the time as well. Potentially not being sort of 6 p.m, looking to do like 7 p.m, just to give people a chance to get there if needed.
Absolutely, and nothing we didn't already know, but we wanted to reaffirm. And just while I've got a cohort of clubs, it helps us massively again when we're looking at trying to make them free at point of service. If you can volunteer your facilities, or we can jump onto your booking hire, particularly at the hub sites, it makes our life so much easier. If we can steal your booking slot and then I only have to pay for the room. So please do make us aware and make yourselves available to do that for us, because it makes a massive difference when we're trying to keep the cost of coach support down for the coaches attending. Is there anything been chucked in there?
Just one from Alison. I believe she's a new chairperson at the club. A sort of intro to would be useful to her.
Oh, that's
something like that around probably chair, around secretary. I know we've had bits like that on our website before, so I'll try and find that.
That's a very valid point, actually, especially with new clubs and potentially new accredited clubs. So I will add that in, and I will look to work something into our workshop offer. But thank you for that, Alison. That is a fantastic suggestion and something I had not considered.
Definitely. A few more coming in. Julian's just put some training for coaches to help understand mainstream disabilities such as ADHD, autism. So obviously, yeah, like Tom said earlier, we've got Julie in place now, Julie Callahan, who's our expert around that. So she's definitely doing a lot of work, as well as that being one of the bespoke.
I'll jump in on that. Me and JC have already got a meeting penciled in for the new year. And this is a watch this space. We have got a lot of work to do around that area and other areas in that kind of subject area. So yes, absolutely, that is on its way. Where we have to do a little bit more work is, do we have to get training for us to deliver it, or can we get that externally delivered? But yes, Jill, that is absolutely in the pipeline and something me and Julie are really passionate about, and we'll be making available to our clubs.
Perfect. I think there's 2 more as well, if you want me to get those out. Just one from Paul. Can I ask how the league is to support the growth in referee development whilst grassroots grow at all levels? Referees is a large concern. Referees is a large concern in all counties. Paul, yeah, definitely. It's one of I run the league forum, which is similar to this club day, and it's one of our talking points on the last one in November was all around referees. Obviously, yeah, with the lockdown, it's been difficult too, because we've not been able to run courses, but definitely want to put some initiatives in place, which we've been brainstorming with leagues on how they can really push those as well. Courses are getting taken up left, right and centre. We're just struggling to get as many courses as we'd like on. We've recruited some more referee tutors, so hopefully getting people through the door onto referee courses. But the main thing with referees, as we've alluded to before, is keeping them within the game as well. So offering their support. Simon touched on it earlier with referee mentors, referee coaches, so putting that in place as well. But yeah, definitely linking with the leagues. I think they're a massive stakeholder in making sure that that's pushed out as well as it can be. And then one from Alan Tom, nothing to do with accreditation, but I'd like some sort of presentation or course to understand refereeing from the viewpoint of a manager, coach or club official, i.e. how to mark referees, make them feel more comfortable, etc. That is something that's in the pipeline. I'll see if I can dig it out again and pop it into the chat, the link. I know it's something that the FA did create.
Sorry, Lee, I'll jump on that as well. Aaron is creating a workshop within our support officer around creating the right environment for young referees, and that will form part of it. So again, very much something that's on our radar. The workshop as outline has been designed, and the content will be designed when we deliver to our first club that requests it. So if that is something that you as a club are looking at doing to educate particularly the adults within your club on how to support young referees within that environment, in how to deal with creating the right environment, how to mark them, how to feedback if required, if necessary, and how you manage their match day experience. Yeah, we're on it already, so that's good to hear. There is an appetite for that.
And last one, Nathan's just popped in some bits around where to find more on accreditation, so definitely look at those links if you get a chance. And then just one from Simon: could all clubs have an individual or two be funded for ref courses? The pot off for people is the cost. Again, one that we discussed on the league forum, we've discussed with the team. Like Tom says, I'll pop in the link now actually to our news story on funded courses for referees is doing that. So that might be one that they could benefit from as well. But it's definitely, if anyone's struggling with that for whatever reason, we can look at different avenues to potentially get someone on a ref course if funding is the issue.
Smashing. If you've got any more thoughts or anything you want to add in, fire it into the chat, because the chat stays live, so I can pick it up tomorrow and afterwards. As soon as I stop sharing, I can see it. Right, I'm going to crack on. I'm conscious of time after internet gate. So, benefits. What are the benefits to being accredited? There are three main areas of benefit to being accredited. Firstly, the environment. Being accredited equips and empowers you to make sure at training, match days, cup finals, league fixtures, the environment that everyone, from players to coaches, officials to spectators, experience is safe, fun and inclusive for everyone. Second one being people. Inclusive teams and player pathways provide opportunity for more players to have chances across the network whilst on their footballing journey from youth to adult. Finally, processes. Season and development club planners or development plans, empower you to grow your league or club your way, knowing and delivering on what your ambitions are on the journey to becoming the best versions of yourself. So these benefits form strong roots for you as a club, like we said earlier, around having a strong base around your governance. The strength and sustainability grows from that, both deep and long, and as well as tall and wide, meaning that you are built to last, and you will be the clubs that we're still dealing with in 10, 15 years that are well run, great places to be, and most importantly, delivering on the player pathways, giving everyone opportunities to play football. The incentives, we're starting to get to the good stuff now, what everyone came for. So you can see, as you can see on the screen, the incentives to being accredited, access to that development plan that we just mentioned, funded and discounted kit and equipment, promotional resources and guidance, positive environment for everyone involved, the support to be structured and governed effectively, which is crucial if you want to have those strong roots that we just mentioned, support to raise standards on and off the pitch, qualifications, tailored support from the FA, county FAs and England football, and the support to offer pathway opportunities to male, female, disability players across the network. I think we've outlined already how we as a county FA are pivoting and shifting to try and really scaffold and support you clubs in these areas. And again, if you've got further suggestions or further areas you want to check and challenge, stick it in the chat, or if you want to do it privately, you've got my email address. Growing. And growing your way. We preach sustainability and growth throughout tonight. To support this, I'm pleased to announce, and hopefully you've already seen it anyway, that the club season and development plans, as mentioned earlier, have now been made live. They are absolutely brilliant resources. I cannot describe to you, if you, from the old one to the new one, we're not talking chalk and cheese. We're literally, there's no comparison. Fantastic documents, much improved. And certainly a step up from what we were using previously. So I will send them out to you following the meeting. You can also get it straight on that link. The beauty of them, they're on PowerPoint. You can work through it in stages. There's lots of explanations on what information needs to be captured, all with the mindset of supporting you to, as we said, sustain or grow in line with your club's vision and policies. So at the CAN FA, again, we'll be able to view your development plans, because as part of the accreditation, you need to upload them into the portal. This will help align our support, which is great. And as mentioned earlier, your development plans will form part of the renewal and application if you are at that point. Okay. League and club services. And when I mentioned the 8 topics earlier, plus the 2 we added, those icons on the right align with that. So you can see the F for facilities, F for finance, and so on. So the future's looking really, really exciting in terms of club support offer from us. I'm hoping that we're moving in the right direction and we are beginning to really align ourselves with what you need. England football too are constantly improving and adapting their support offer. Look out kind of from early 2022 as more support such as In the Box becomes available. Later down the line, we've got stuff such as the self-assessment tool, which is going to be game changing for you as clubs, that hopefully in the future we get access to for everyone. So again, it's a watch this space, and it's a really exciting time moving forward for us as a county, for you as clubs, and alongside England football. We're nearly there. On to the processes that I've mentioned already about 15 times. The portal is the new home for accreditation, for renewing and applying. And if you want to see some of the capabilities and functions of that, I'm going to stay on after the slides are finished. And if you want to stay on, I can show you exactly what you can and can't do, how to apply, and how to get your portal up to date and bang in line with where it needs to be. So I will stay on and do that afterwards. Again, more of the good bits, the rewards. We've spoken at depth kind of regarding the benefits of being club accredited, and how we want that to almost be intrinsic, and we want you to want to be the best places you can be. We want you to feel supported by us in England football, but it is nice to have those rewards. So it's pleasing to see that they've remained in a form. You're still getting access to kit and equipment vouchers. You're still getting some footballs alongside the digital asset packs and so on. And also, again, for our new clubs, you are getting that reward for becoming accredited clubs. So we haven't lost out on that. The ace of clubs. When you're accredited, you're not just part of it, you're the beating heart of it. And if the video had worked at the start, you would have seen that said at the end. So we've made our way through the slide deck. So I do want to say, firstly, a huge thank you for sticking with us. I did say it could be death by PowerPoint today, and we did try to keep it as short as possible, minus the internet issue. So we've reached the end of that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to stop sharing my screen so I can get myself on camera. And now you're just going to see my face in full. There we go. And I'm going to open it up to the floor if we have any questions or if we have anything that we want to raise. Like I said, that's been a whistle-stop tour of accreditation and the direction that we're taking our support, particularly in line with getting our accredited clubs the support that we feel that you deserve and that you need. So it's exciting times for everyone. Like I said, I'm going to stay on. If anyone needs it, do fire it in the chat if you are going to stay on and you want to see the portal in use, because it will be easy for me. I can share my screen. I've got a folded club that I haven't quite folded yet. I've made myself chairman, secretary and treasurer, so I can show you the full ins and outs of that. Anything else I need to add on to that? No. So like I said, it is kind of, we've come to the end. So if you do want to leave now, you can. I just again want to say a massive thank you for joining us. Thank you for your work in the year 2021. It has been another one of those years. I know Player Reg was an interesting time, but your work rate and your commitment as volunteers is something that we do not take for granted at the County FA, and we really appreciate it. So do ensure you get yourself well rested, take a break from football. Don't think about any of it. Spend a week or so away from it before we get back to it in January, when it'll all kick off again. And I'm sure the weather will be first topic on all grassroots coaches and club officials conversations. But again, thank you very much for joining us tonight. I'm staying on. to do the accreditation portal stuff if it's needed. Stephen, do not worry about taking control. It was probably my fault for saying start clicking buttons, so do not worry about it at all. Always interesting when I'm presenting. The internet always decides to break. So like I said, feel free to drop out if you want. I'm staying on. I'm happy to discuss anything with anyone that needs to raise any points. Unmute yourself or put your hand up and we can call on you. And it can be more general. Like you say, you've got Claire, you've got Molly, you've got Leon. We're all still here. So we can answer any questions kind of in line with anything that you need. Whilst there's still 22 people on, I will keep talking just so it's not awkward. Just following on from the last meeting, the respect meeting, just to make you all aware that the respect process is flying at the minute. We're working really, really hard to support the clubs that need that help. So for those of you that do have questions around respect and what gets done, we are on it. We spoke to 20 plus clubs during November. We will be hitting 10 to 15 during December. So rest assured that we are doing kind of our end of the bargain and we are here to support you as clubs if you need that support in that area. Again, anyone that's still on, let me know if you need the portal demonstration in the chat so I can get it fired up.
We can do that, Tom. It's Richard from Sheffield Rangers.
Yeah, absolutely.
I don't think they're accredited at the moment. I've spoke with the secretary and it's something that we definitely look to do.
Okay, I'll have a look for you now and then we can. Sheffield Rangers JFC.
That's the one.
Okay, I'm just going to double check. You are accredited. You're already accredited. You're doubting yourself. Just check that your club's linked up because I can see there's a lady. Is the ladies section form part of the club or not anymore?
Not as far as I'm aware.
Might just be a redundant team that's not been properly folded yet. And what I will do is I'll still obviously I'll share my screen and we'll work for it because if you're already accredited, you still need to know how to use it and make sure that you are ensuring you're validated ahead of next year. So I'll fire that up now. So anyone that's still on, I'm guessing you want to see the portal in action. So I'm going to just share my screen again.
Tom, just quickly, it's Daniel from Rossington, Maine.
Yeah, far away.
I've got Leon with me tomorrow anyway. I'm in a bit of a rush tonight. Will he be me through the portal stuff when he's with me tomorrow?
He should be able to. If he doesn't, I'll give him the tutorial tomorrow before he comes to see you.
It's just that I'm recently new picking up from Carl, so he's left.
No, it's not a problem, and it's. I'm hoping the recording is still worked. Yes, I think we're still recording, so this will be uploaded anyway. So if Leon can't do it with you, which I think he can, recording back after. It's not an issue.
Absolutely fine. I'll bring my laptop.
Yeah, all right. We'll see you tomorrow then.
Okay, Leon, can you see the club portal?
No, can you give me access?
No, I'm sharing my screen. Is it on the screen or not?
Oh, right, no. Yes, it is, sorry.
Oh, no, the presentation.
Oh, it was, no.
Sorry, yeah, the presentation came back on. Okay, can you see it again now, yeah?
All good, mate.
Okay, so we've got Red Line Grenoside here, unfortunately, one of our folded clubs. So I've added myself into all the roles. You'll see they're accredited. It doesn't matter as for this purpose of this demonstration. So the club portal, if you're not aware, clubs.thefa.com is where you take care of your player registration and now your accreditation. Other stuff is to come later down the line. So in the future, things such as affiliation will be sitting within this. But the portal itself, although there was player reg issues, is life-changing is probably the wrong word, but whole game is like radio and club portal is like HD Blu-ray TV. There's just no comparison in terms of speed, quality. This is a much better tool for us to use, and it will in the long run save us so much time. So we navigate around it. So your player reg stuff would sit under players, your teams, and your officials, which you'll just see me there. And then you've got my club and the dashboard. So if you hover between these two spots, this is where you'll do all your accreditation work. Your dashboard, when you are non-accredited, this is where you will see an apply for chart, I nearly said chart standard, apply for accreditation button will be living here. Because this club's accredited, it's not there. That button will remain grey until your accreditation checklist, as you can see here, is complete. Now, to complete that, we need to have green in all the areas that we see here. So club, officials, documents, and player pathways. So on the club section, you need to be an affiliated club to a county FA, and you must have teams playing in the league. That's a non-negotiable. You must also confirm that your club do hold an AGM and committee meetings, and you take the minutes. Your officials, for a one-team adult club or an adult club, the only thing that you need to worry about currently is adult teams with first aid in football. So as you can see, these are greyed out, and because I'm listed as the coach, that's showing as complete. If you don't have a qualified first aid qualified coach attached to the team, that will be orange. So there's ways to get that sorted. If no one's got the qualification at the club, then you need to get 2 people or 1 person, if it's not a player, onto that online course, and then add them, if they are a player, as the team first aider. If it is the coach, it'll automatically pick that up. But I want to re-emphasize, if it's a player, you must have 2. And the sole purpose of that is, if they go down, who's going to look after them? Now, the other area that will start to pop up for your accreditation is around officials being DBS compliant. If you have under 18 players, this will become an issue. So if you have under 18 players, you will be required to have DBS compliant coaches. So if you do, that'll turn orange. It won't be not applicable until you get that resolved. It will turn green. Documents, all the criteria that was outlined earlier sits in here. So you've got your club rules, safeguarding children policy, equality policy, respect code of conduct, diversity code, development plan, club accounts. So again, they'll be orange until you upload or adopt those policies. And your player pathways, it's just useful for you to know where you're at, particularly for those clubs that are 2 and 3 star or might be flirting in between. It gives you a lovely breakdown here of where you're at. So if you were a larger club, you might have ticks at 9s, 11s, 13s, 15s. So it can show you really clearly where you're at with your player pathways and what areas that you need to look to develop with our support. So that's where you will apply for it, and that's where it will give you your accreditation checklist. Where you'll take care of the business, per se, is on My Club, and you'll go to documentation. Now, again, this would all be showing as not done, but I've already demonstrated this to someone and there's no turning back. So as you can see here, we've got all the documents and policies that were outlined on the dashboard. So Football Leadership Diversity Code. To take care of this and to adopt it, you simply have to click the button that would be sitting here if I hadn't clicked it already, but I can show you what it looks like. You will click onto it. You can view the document, which it will make you do the first time. So there we have it, the Club Leadership Diversity Code. You will have an official name and a date, and you will then adopt it. By clicking the button, you'll see it's now changed its completion date. And you do that for all the policies. The beauty of this is the button on the right will allow you to download and share. Because they're in PDF formats, it's easy to share via WhatsApp and attachments to emails. So no excuse for sharing all of your club's policies with all of your members. Once you begin to populate that and to adopt them, it will then start to tick it off as green within the dashboard. So as you can see, I've ticked all of them off and I've adopted them. You will need to do all of that. Even if, for example, you have your own set of club rules, we'd still like to tick that off, and we'll show you where you can then upload that. On to club policies. This is where you can upload your own documents. So I've just mentioned around your club rules. If it's tweaked version of that, we'd like you to upload them into here. This is also where you will upload your club development plan, and I'll send you out the template for that following the meeting. So it's really simple process. Upload, you just say which one it's going to be, and it's because I've already done the development plan, it only wants to see the constitution. Tick the box and upload it. Just make sure it meets the file type required. So again, really quick and simple. Accounts, again, dead easy. Upload, ideally in an Excel, so it's a real life, so we can see that it's a proper sheet. I've got templates that live on the website. If you want support around accounts, I'm happy to help. And the beauty again of this is that we can show archived ones, so you can look back over the years, at last year's, the years before, the year before, the year before, and follow a really clear trail of your accounts. And then at the end is other documents. And again, if you've tweaked some of the policies over here, or you've got additional stuff that you want to add, that you want to sit on the portal, so it's there permanently, this is where you can upload them. So that is how you take care of ticking off the policies, the accounts, the documents required to become accredited. And I think you can see probably if you're a one team or a small adult club, you could potentially have your application boxed off in 5 minutes in terms of this bit. The only piece of work that you would have to do is around the development plan. So as I work through the stuff on the My Club tab, all of this begins to turn green. The officials, the documents are all shown as complete. And because I've done that, documents is complete, officials is complete, club is complete, player pathways is not applicable. And the accreditation checklist turns green. So if you are already accredited, that's what you want to see in terms of your revalidation. And as I said, the beauty of the system is that we can, if there are any issues with your qualifications at the time, you can hover over and it will bring up John Smith, Jane Smith, Leon Derns and Simon Frost and Molly Johnson have all got expired first aid. It'll just chuck it there and then in your face and on the drop down. It'll tell you exactly what needs to be done. So it's really, really useful. And again, if we work down to officials, it gives it you live. So it tells you exactly on the safeguarding tab here, exactly what they've got, what role they're in, who they are. And I'm green, luckily for me. So as you can see, my committee members expires in 24. My welfare officer is compliant because I did it. I've got till 23 on my safeguarding adults I've done, and my DBS, and they're all the relevant ones for the roles that I am in. Obviously, if it was in junior football, it would have my first aid training on as well. There you go. So that is how you can manage it 365, and that's a massive, massive improvement for us. So it means no more sending paper files. No more annual health checks in the whole game portal. It means no more running off things and sending them through the post. It's just a game changer for everyone. So have you got any other questions around how to manage your own club within there? Or if you've got any questions around how to apply or revalidation, anything like that, feel free to unmute yourself. There's only 6 or 7 of us left in. So you can unmute yourself and fire away, because now's probably the best time to ask, because there's only a small group of us.
When has all this got to be done by, Tom?
So if you're already accredited, Jill, which I'm guessing you are,
yeah,
you've got until the November 22. You've got ages on this.
Okay.
And I'm not sure if this is happening in this year, because affiliation is going to stay on whole game this year. But if I think it's the year after when affiliation moves to the portal also, if you meet the criteria at the point of your affiliation, you won't even need to do your health check, your old school health check, if that makes sense. It will revalidate you instantly at the point of affiliation, which again is it just means you haven't got anything to worry about during the season. So you've got until November to get used to the system and have a play with it. But as always, the main sticking point is going to be coach qualifications.
Yeah, that's always my problem. Yeah.
So I think what helps us massively is before it was actually really time consuming for us to view your qualifications. It was really quick for you. It was a nightmare for us, but now it's instant too. So it's going to make our support a lot easier also. But like I said, once they start going orange and your accreditation checklist starts going orange, you just have to hover over it and it will say Jill Akers needs to update DBS, for example, and just go bang straight on it. So massive step in the right direction for us.
This is just a slightly off target a bit, but actually what sort of support is available from you regarding coaches who seem unable to complete these qualifications?
So that's a tricky one, Jill, because if you'd have asked me that 24 months ago, 36 months ago, we would have had a real responsibility to say this is what we're doing. The courses are now totally ran by England football. So where we can help, we will. But England football are the ones designing, delivering, and they are responsible for the courses. So if people have additional needs, for example, they actually, there is stuff in place to support those people. They obviously need to, again, it might be through us or via you that we need to contact England Football to make them aware of that or to help with their journey. But it does become more tricky when we actually don't administer the courses anymore. I have to say, we've not come across many issues in terms of the horrible stuff we used to have where I can't log in, or it's not allocated to my fan, or it's not loading up. That type of stuff seems to be in the past, hopefully. So that should make your life easier when someone's saying, I've done it, it's not showing. And then we find 8 fans from 15 years ago. Because of the work that's going on to remove duplicate fans and the email stuff, it's making...
I've still got one coach that has not yet done the first aid, and he's the only first aider on that team. So should that team really not be playing?
At the point of affiliation, it's DBS only that gets checked. But I think, obviously, for a chart standard club, I keep saying it, an accredited club, it's going to take me ages to stop saying that. As an accredited club, it is something that we would want you to be right on top of, and to really push that person to get that sorted. And I don't want to sound brutal, but the excuse of I can't make it is now gone. They can jump off and get that course sorted online with no...
It still doesn't seem to be making any difference though, Tom.
That's it, yeah.
I mean, it's a nightmare. Don't get onto that. It's just driving me spare. To be fair, Jill, so that I've nearly handed me notice in.
I've been known, and if you want to pass it on to me, I've been known to ring coaches and rattle them on your behalf. So if you need me to do that, let me know, and I'll give that coach a call.
Okay, thank you.
It always not a bit more powerful, but it does rattle a few cages when the county FA are asking why they've not got the first aid sorted. So if you need me to do that,
Tom, I'll email you tomorrow.
Let me know and I'll have a chat with him. Just remind him regarding the fact that he coaches at an accredited club. No problem.
Okay. Thank you.
Alan, do you want to unmute yourself?
Hi Tom, Alan Hitchin, Redfern's Junior Football Club. Just a quick question about the question that Jules just raised about coaches and first aid. Yes, all ours have got it, but I've just sort of stepped back now, just supporting the club overall, having sort of done the stints through to 16s 2 or 3 times. But I've gone back to do the first aid one, and to be honest, I'll say it's a bit of a nightmare because is it something like 3 or 4 hours long? And yes, you can do it in little bits, but it's finding the time to do it. And I've started and stopped it twice. And I will get through it, don't get me wrong, but I can concur with the guy at Julian's club that perhaps that's the issue, because not everybody's tech savvy either, are they? And
I do appreciate that bit is the bit that we can't, that decision was taken out of our hands and kind of, it's something that we're in this online world now. What I will say is, I hate to use this phrase because my old boss used to say it to me. We won't apologise for the standards that we set, and although yes, we're saying it is okay, it's 3, can be 4 hours long. If that's the price of saving someone's life, if that's the price of doing CPR on someone, we're willing to wear that and say, actually, you've got to do it. And like you said, it is long. It's long for a reason. It's once every 3 years, and it's one of them. You got to bite the bullet and get it done for that what if moment. And none of us want to be part of one of those moments. But when it comes, you'd rather be saying, I'm glad I sat through that 4 hours than I was watching Only Fools and Horses on Gold while I was clicking through it or whatever. It's got to be done. And we won't apologise for kind of setting the bar that high, because that's what separates. Again.
No, Tom, don't get me wrong. I'm 100% with you. And the content so far has been brilliant because it's totally different to what we've done in the past. And I think the depth that it goes to now is far better because you've got the understanding as well. Instead of somebody just saying, this is what you do. It's, well, why do we do it and how do we do it now? So I'm not saying don't do it. I'm fully with it. And as I say, we'll get through it. But from Gillian's point of view, I can understand the guy that perhaps he's not got the time. Is there anybody else within the team that could do it, Gillian?
Yeah, well, we're looking at it. I mean, my mantra always is, what would you say in a coroner's court? You know, and if you had to go, you know, if it did end up like that, and you had to say, well, I didn't do my first aid and he died, you know, I mean, it just, but I want this bloke to do it because he's in charge of the team and he's been in that team, and I don't know, for a long time actually, and I don't know why he won't do it. I just wonder whether it's a bit of a thing with me actually.
Yeah, I think it's kind of, it's case by case, isn't it? But I think, as Nathan's rightly pointed out there, people get a 6-month warning, so the qualification is due to expire. So I do appreciate that it can. People have got busy lives, but the beauty of it is you can dip in and out, and hopefully that's not going to be a big barrier. And if it is, it might be something like Alan's mentioned there, where we have to look at, or you as a club might have to look at your club rules or how you govern your club in terms of making things mandatory. Which is the position I would, the position I would probably take.
I'm not going to let it drop. I mean, he's going to do this by the start of the season. You know, the next season. But it's just really tough. You know, you just feel as if you're banging your head against a brick wall.
I totally appreciate that. It can be tough with your volunteers, and that's where, as a club, when we talk about governance and club rules and stuff, if you've got that to fall back on, if you've got that written into your constitution, actually you're not necessarily the I don't want to use the term bad guy, but you're not that bad person in that situation. You're saying, hold on a minute, you're at this club, this is Dog and Duck FC, where the lead coach has first aid, and that would be my way of pushing that person.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Like I said, if you need me, Jill, just fire me an email and I'm happy to give them a call.
Thank you for that, the other guy. I don't know who you were, but I will look at that as well to see if there's somebody else that would do it and be there at a match. Thank you.
So again, last orders. If anyone's got any queries, questions around the portal or anything that's immediate that you need to raise, happy to answer. If not, you can start logging yourselves out. I'll stay on till everyone goes. And we'll probably just do a quick recap afterwards.
Tom, can I just, if you can hear me still?
Yeah.
You said about, we've got a meeting on Wednesday. We're going to look at some of these documentation. I thought, I've printed it off, but you said you can share the PDF by WhatsApp. Yeah. And I've just had a quick look and I can't seem to do that. Okay, so what you'll need to do, are you on the portal on your phone now, or how are you? Yeah. So all you need to do is click on the download bit of the document. Yeah. Make sure that you are, let me get my brain right. Make sure you're on My Club and Documentation. Yeah, got it. And then on Actions, you should be able to download it. So it should come on your screen and you should see it. All right, we're doing the club rules and they've come up, but I just can't see a way. So what phone are you on? Because I'm Google. You might not do it on Google. Nath, Molly, Simon, anyone work at Google? So on my iPhone, when I'm on a thing like that, I have a button that says share, and I press it, and then I press WhatsApp, and then I just pick the group or the chat I want it to go in, and it goes straight in. So PDFs are quality in WhatsApp because they just sit in there, and everyone can view them. But yeah, once you're on it, you'll have some way of sharing your document. I don't know how Google Phone works. There'll be some way. Let me try and I don't even know what the icon will look like on a. Mine's just, I'm just going to it. When I share it shares the club portal, which means they have to then log in. Can't actually. So you're sharing the link. Are you open? So don't share the URL at the top. Yeah. You need. It will be something at the bottom of your screen. Let me try and show you what. Not show you. I'm going to do it on my phone, and then I can at least give you an indication as to what the buttons. So on my phone, on an iPhone, it's a square with an arrow pointing at the top, which is the share icon. It's actually the same as it is on Microsoft Teams on here. Right. So when I'm on the file, I'm on the PDF, I then press share, and it will only share the file rather than the link, if that makes sense. Okay. But yeah, the beauty of PDFs is, and for me, if I was a club when it's signing on night in the summer, I'd be setting a parent's WhatsApp up that none of them can reply to. I'd have it so they can't even reply because you know what it's like. But I'd be banging all the PDFs. Here's our club rules. Here's our policy, equality policy. Here's the safeguarding. Here's respect. No excuse then, because everyone lives on the phone. So that's why I like them. Yeah, I've got that ready to go. I'm going to send it out now because I've printed some off. In fact, in saying that, I'm seeing Leon at Hallam at 1 o'clock on Wednesday.
Awesome.
So maybe he could show me.
Is it, what at Sandygate?
It's Nathan. I think on the main screen of the documents, once you've adopted it, there should be a download button there. It doesn't until you adopt it. That's it.
I ain't adopted it yet.
That's it. That's why you can't see the button.
Adopt it first before to download it. That is an issue at the minute. Yeah.
That is why.
So if I adopt it,
just bear in mind you can't unadopt it once you do it. But yeah, once you adopt it, you should then be able to download.
All right. Okay. All right. That's great. Thank you very much.
Awesome.
Yeah. Out now. Thank you very much.
See you, Kev.
Cheers.
Question for another time. When will level 2 and 3 goalkeeper courses be available again? Watch this space. And I don't think, Nathan, you might be able to correct me if I'm wrong. I don't think they're getting redesigned, which is obviously the delay in the UEFA C, the old level 2.
I think that's a case of keeping your eye out on England football learning. I've not heard anything about goalkeeper coaching. I can ask around, but I've not heard anything at this stage.
Yeah, I'm fairly confident that those courses are happening, Gordon. But they're organised by England football, and they'll be because of this specialisation, and maybe that it's not like a level 1 that fills straight away. I think that they'll be more regionally based and obviously quite infrequent. So you have to stay on top of that. What it might be worth doing is firing them a message. I think they probably do have some sort of waiting list that they can at least, or a notification. So when a course becomes available, it lets you know. I know they had that in place for the intro to football, but I'm not aware that they were being redesigned. So I would expect that they're running as normal, but they're not being put on by us. So if 2 years ago I'd have said we've got one in September and one in March, Brian Peck's delivering it, one in Doncaster, one in Sheffield, but we're not in the position to do that anymore, unfortunately.
Okay, thanks for that.
No problem. All right. Anyone left in? All right, I'm going to start.